Hello, everyone. I know you're all on mute, so you don't have to say hello back. Keep doing what you're doing.
Nice to see you.
Hello. Maureen, your hair looks nice. Not that it didn't look nice before, but you have a new do, it seems. New look.
Yes, I actually cut bangs for the first time in a
Is that
long
what it is?
time.
Okay, yeah. It looks good.
I'm back in the 90s.
Yeah, well, I got bangs, so, what?
I didn't get minutes.
Yeah, I didn't get
Karen.
minutes for a new agenda, Karen, either. I don't know. A new agenda, not that we don't have
I
that.
have an agenda, but yeah. But no minutes.
No minutes, okay. You didn't hear from Flo at all, right?
Sorry, I was talking on mute. Flo just sent me the minutes now, so I'm going to send those out to everybody.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay, hi Flo. Okay, thank you for those. Hi Flo.
Hello.
Hello, we're just reading your minutes, the minutes, not your.
Oh, yeah, right. The minutes, yeah, because I forgot completely to send them out.
Well. Hey, Joanne.
Hi.
Joanne, the minutes just came, if you didn't see them, so if you have a chance and can pull them up, if you. So we can. I think we have a quorum, so I think I'm gonna just give another minute or two, another just 90 seconds to skim the minutes. We'll get started. Right, I know Suzanne's not coming, and it just leaves Liz, I think, right, Joanne, Liz? Oh, Christina, I'm sorry. I didn't forget you. Well, I did, just for a second, I did. I'm looking at who was here last month, that's what I'm looking at, so. The minutes just got sent out, but since you weren't at the last meeting, I don't think, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I had COVID.
Oh, you had COVID, yeah, you won't be able to.
Aye.
You can read them later when you need something to read. Hello, everyone.
I
Mid-October, here we go. All right, the meeting is called to order. Greeting. So
Greetings.
the first order of business would be to vote on the minutes. Maureen and Flo, well, Flo, you wrote them, so you know. Maureen, Joanne, did you get a chance to at least skim them?
Yeah, I'm just looking at them.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the September 14th.
I did read
Meeting.
them. I would second it.
Okay.
All in favor? Everybody, anybody opposed? Okay, and then the second order of business would be Karen did send, Karen, thank you for sending this out earlier. A monthly report for September.
Mhm.
Then you may or may not have had a chance to look at it, but maybe you can put it in front of you right now if you don't have it. But Karen, what do you want to, does everybody have it?
Mhm.
Okay, any questions or comments or wondering or?
Oh,
Yay,
busy
rah, rah?
month.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've been very busy with classes. We added a couple new classes, and on Tuesdays we have most weeks 3 different card games going on. And we also, Tuesday's a very busy day around here. We're actually out of space. We have a writing seminar that was really successful. We had way more people, Susan can talk to this afterwards, come than we anticipated. So we did a little shifting around, and I'm relocating my woodworking group down
how are
to
you?
the
Okay. Yeah.
dining room so that they can have a full room, because we have probably 15 to 20 people participating. So that was really good. We were really happy with that.
Nice. Wow.
It's a 4-week program. I did go, I have been twice now, it's 2 weeks in. And it's been, yeah, it's great. It's just, I think it may, right, Karen, it may continue in some shape or form. There was really good response to it. And I think one of the things that really, I just was, it made me happy that there were that many people there, but also made me happy the different reasons that people were there. And the veterans agent was there, and a couple other people with military backgrounds. And one of the reasons or purposes or goals for, particularly for the VSO person, is to bring more writing opportunities to the veterans. He said there's a lot of Vietnam vets that he's saying, and I'm sure Karen, you did too when you were doing that work all the time, and that because there's so many stories that haven't been told and that are hard to tell, and writing may be a vehicle for telling. So it was fun, it was uplifting, the whole thing. It's, there's some heavy stuff. We did poetry yesterday and everybody read what they wrote, and it was, some of it is hard stuff for people, but it's a great program. And meanwhile, the woodworkers are in the background, just not even acknowledging that we're there, and they're chatting away and talking about whatever they're talking about. And you can smell the wood chips, which was kind of fun. I like that. But anyway, thank you for bringing it to the center, Karen.
Wow.
We're hoping to be able to really start offering things like that, more type of programming like that as we move forward. And that's one of the reasons it's actually good. I'm relocating woodworking back to where they like,
Yeah.
because then it keeps that classroom open to be able
Okay.
to offer programming. So we're excited.
How many people are in the writing class or seminar?
There were like 15, 16 the first week and not,
Wow,
it's, anybody who wants could still come next week.
I see.
1 o'clock on Tuesdays for the next 2 weeks. And it's done by a group of people who are called the Writers Room, I think Writers Room, which is a nonprofit, legit nonprofit of writers. And there's 4 of them. They were all there both times, actually. They take turns teaching. Yesterday was the woman who did poetry. She was in charge.
Wow,
It was very good. It was very, very good.
cool.
Nice. It looks like participation is up all around the board. That's great.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
People are just wanting to get back out.
I know, right?
And thank you for adding the outreach veterans. So that's Beth and the DSO. Karen, we asked for that last month. And
yeah.
you captured that number. Thank you.
Yeah, and our writers actually workshop works somewhat as an intergenerational because it was open to our participants and the veterans. So we did it in collaboration with the veterans. So we could have veterans of any age join in with our participants here.
I see. So what is that outreach? So who is that? That is outreach by Beth Greenberg and then 16 outreach by the Veterans Office? I'm confused as to what
Yeah,
that.
so I did outreach. So that's office outreach. So either Beth, myself, or Marianne, if one of us really takes the time to sit and go over things with people. And then
Got
the
it.
number of visits that Dave had. His number, I think, is higher than that. We're trying to remind him to check in with us to see how many people he sees.
Remember,
Sure.
we're trying to capture like total people who don't necessarily come for a COA program,
Yeah.
but come, for something,
Sure. Yep.
some
Got it.
service. And then now
Mhm.
Shine is gonna, it goes all the time, but open enrollment starts this week or next week. So the
Yeah,
Shine,
Shine had a big meeting today. That's where they were all trained, the Shine counselors on this year. So our Shine appointments are almost full. We're going to work
Yeah.
with them to see if they want to add some more spots. And with Leo opening up, I think it's going to be a really big couple of months for 6 weeks for outreach.
with what opening up? What did you say about that?
With the Leo benefit for fuel assistance.
Oh, okay, yeah, oh, wow.
Okay.
And there's a lot of anxiety about that right now because some of the people who have been receiving Leo for years, some of the paperwork going out that they should have already gotten hasn't gotten to them yet. So there's a lot of people very anxious about that. So we fielded quite a few calls about that, about my Leo paperwork hasn't come, so-and-so's has, just a lot of anxiety. So we're just trying to help people through that. And then
Sure.
Beth is working with Leo to coordinate having a Leo person come in a couple mornings a week to help register people for Leo. But we haven't gotten the dates yet. So once we get those, I'll email them out for the group.
I saw something in
hoping-
the paper last week about they're still deliberating somewhere about how much money is going to be available for fuel assistance. I wonder if that's part of the holdup. I don't know. That's interesting though that it hasn't gone out yet.
Yeah, I'm curious. I wish we had their dates they're going to be here because I need to get my newsletter out in the next day or two. So I don't think I'll have it in time to add it to our newsletter, but we'll be ready with the calls. They also moved offices right around this time, which seems crazy, but they didn't ask my opinion. So we're just supporting.
Is there anything we should note on this report, Karen, besides what we've already talked about? I mean, the bills look pretty normal and I don't see anything.
No, I think nothing of note other than the fact that we are less than 2 weeks until Maureen arrives and Marianne and I are like counting the seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Is she
All right,
gonna
I'll
be
make you want me to make a motion?
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to accept the monthly report for the month of September, financial report.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody object? No. Okay, thank you. I don't have the agenda in front of me. Director's report, I think, is next.
I think so.
How was
Yes,
today? How was the lunch today?
Flo came and helped us. I think it was a big success. We had 3 counselors there that did a good job networking with all of our, speaking with, not networking, listening to all of our participants and sharing some of their ideas with them, listening to their concerns, taking down some ideas. So I thought it was a successful event. Sabatino's provided the food, or they provided the eggplant parm we served, and then we got a cake from the vocational school. So that was nice to work with the folk on that. Everybody seemed to be enjoying themselves. So I thought it was a good overall event. We are going to attempt to have a holiday party in December. So I sent a note out to for catering to see if we could potentially get something set up. So we are going to try and go back to having a holiday party again.
You have a date on that or no? Just depends on the caterer, maybe?
Tentatively December 7th.
Okay.
We'll pay a little tribute for Pearl Harbor Day when it starts, but that was the best date that we could find. So we're not trying to take away and celebrate on Pearl Harbor Day, but we'll make sure we have a moment of silence to start it, but then we will
Yeah.
hopefully have our
Karen, do you
festivity.
have any sense of what people what kinds of issues or questions or concerns were being raised to the council people?
No, they didn't share that with me. I should reach back out to them to see. We had fielded a couple of questions from people prior to about it with one woman had wanted to come and had to cancel, and she was concerned about fire or smoke detectors, but she didn't realize the fire department already helps with that. So we connected her to the fire department to get that done. But I can reach out and see which concerns they have. I was busy posting it, so I didn't.
I know. Flo, did you pick up any intelligence about that?
I did not. No, we were like, I felt we were the worker bees, but
You were serving, yeah.
they seemed to be pretty engrossed in grilling these fellows. It was Jonathan Chines, Ed Dombrowski, and Bob Vincent were the 3 counselors who were there. So whatever went on, they did get an earful, because I know there was a lot of, they were never idle. So
I had shine training today too, so I do it not in Mystic Valley, but in elder services. So I was sorry not to be there, but I had shine all day myself.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah. It would be good to hear, because just as we and the town goes forward, so to speak, with its master plan. If fire alarm is a pretty little thing to somebody, but just to us, to the big picture, I don't mean to us, it's an important thing to the big picture, but to the little picture, it's very important that people are safe, right? With fire detection.
Right.
And just what's on people's minds. What was the response from how many people besides helpers and counselors were there, would you say?
27.
Oh, good. Okay.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, it was, I think, 25 participants, 25 or 27.
that's great. That's great.
Late add-ons.
Great.
But I thought it was overall a good event. People
Mhm.
seemed happy that were there, and I do think, it was a great exchange of information. Yeah, so they didn't just come to eat, they came to actually engage with the counselor. So that was nice.
Yeah, there was those 3 were very, I feel like they did a lot of outreach. Each of them was most of them were all circulating. So people got good FaceTime with their counselors.
Good.
Yeah, and otherwise I sent the newsletter out when I sent out the last email. So we've just got, so you can see what's coming up. Senator Lewis is coming to talk about the 4 ballot questions.
Yeah.
We're doing that in combination with Stoneham, just because they're not always well attended. We only have a few, so it seemed like it was a good way to have both centers participate at the same time and save his time.
Where is that going to be, Karen?
That is going to be here at our center.
Uh-huh.
That's on just October 27th at 10. We have not on the newsletter yet, but we are going to be adding, I think I mentioned this last time, we're doing Exercise on My Mind. It's starting for a 6-week session in late October. And then following Exercise on My Mind, we're adding a 3rd Aging Backwards class, which is a very popular class. So we are in the process of, that's going to go in the November newsletter to sign up for it, because we are going to go through the wait lists for the other 2 classes and sign those people up first. And we're going to open the first week of the class enrollment will be for people who are not currently in an aging backwards class, to try and keep it as fair as possible to give more access to people.
Good.
Oh, great.
But we have to go through a lot of lists, so I'm working on that, and I'm hoping Maureen can help with that when she starts. But otherwise, yeah, it's the same stuff. You know, we got the classes open, busy shine season. Leo's about to get really busy. I feel like we are getting a lot of outreach time of calls, some case management kind of calls that we're assisting with the health department. Their new social worker, Jason Stone. He'll send stuff to us, we'll send stuff to him, and we're trying to work in collaboration with each other to take care of some cases that we have going on.
Wow. So how will he interface with Beth Greenberg? Is that how that will work?
Yeah, with either Beth or with myself if she's not here, because again, he's
Okay.
there. She's with us 4 afternoons a week for a few hours. So there will be some times where it will be me because she's busy at her other job
Yeah.
over at housing with Maureen.
Dealings with Karen this month.
I have a question. Yesterday when I was there for the writing group and I was in the little lobby there, the library area, and somebody asked me how you take books out, and I was so
Yes.
embarrassed, I didn't know. So how does one do that?
They're actually, it's the honor system. So
That's what
people
I
get-
told her. I said, I think it's the honor, but go ask Mary Ann.
Yeah.
Take
So
'em.
we've had some avid reading going on. We have Joan, our librarian, told me that I'm really keeping her busy.
Good.
Every time she comes in, the whole basket is full of books, either new donations or books people have borrowed. And since we moved Dave Mangan down to the basement so that there's more privacy for him and the veterans when they're meeting, that old space is now the conference room again.
Oh, good.
So it's a place for us to ever meet if we have little meetings to do. And also it's become Joan's library office when she's here working with us.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
cool.
Okay.
And the veterans are all very happy because they are not, it's much more private for them downstairs. So Dave's happy, the veterans are happy. So it's been a good overall transition.
Okay. So it's just honor, you take it and return it, hopefully someday.
Yes. Oh, and more good news, Steve Mayo agreed to find money for us to purchase the exercise equipment to update the gym.
Oh,
So we can have
great.
to use our
Excellent.
furniture. Yes, so we ordered it. Hopefully it'll be in the next month. So we'll be updating our gym a bit. And then I'm still waiting on supply chain issues apparently for our furniture, but maybe someday before I retire, we'll have in years, we'll have the new library furniture.
Got it.
Can
Good.
I ask you a question, Karen, about the exercise equipment? Do you
Mhm.
guys carry any extra insurance or have people sign like liability forms?
We don't, but that's a good question. Perhaps I should be doing a liability form.
I don't know if you should. I'm never trying to put more work on people, but I know that we have some at the housing authority too, and that just made me think, I'm like, I wonder if we need any kind of protection, because I know we have a few, throughout our buildings that people have donated.
Good question. Good question.
That's a great question. Thank you. I'll look into that to see.
Don't tell anyone it was my idea. I'm just curious, as like I feel like as an adult, you know what the risk is when you're going to do something like that. And
I feel like there is something that you fill out, isn't there, when you go to use the equipment, or no?
No, not right now, just the normal participation form. So I'll have to ask that and see what other centers are doing who have equipment, because I don't know if it's similar to like when you go to a hotel and use the equipment in a hotel versus, yeah, it would probably be a good idea if we came up with something. So I will check in with legal, and I will also see if I can generate something. It doesn't hurt to have that on file, because we have
Mhm.
signs posted below: consult your doctor before starting an exercise program.
right.
Make sure you know how
Okay.
to use the equipment. But yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Right.
And for
Hmm.
classes, do people, I mean, it's the same thing, right? I mean, it's sort of the same thing for people that come to the exercise classes.
Yeah.
You might want to have a waiver of some sort for that also.
Okay, I'll check around with the other centers to see what people are doing with that.
And yesterday I was wondering also, they were taking pictures, which is fine. It's great to take pictures. But I couldn't remember if is there a waiver or something, a way that people could opt out of not having their picture taken, but they're having their photo used, if that's, I mean, probably not a big issue, but it is an issue for some people. They don't want their photo used, so.
Yeah. Mm.
We've never
I
addressed that.
know, it probably never
Yeah.
has come up, but.
Yeah. I don't know,
Hmm.
that'd be hard to manage in a public building, like the schools, it's easy to manage, I would think, to some degree, but it would be hard to manage. I guess we'd have to let people know if you don't want your photo taken to let us know, because it would be hard.
Yeah, maybe it's an opt-out
Be
thing
hard to
rather
manage.
than, yeah.
Yeah, I
opt-in.
feel like with children, it's a little different, but no, I mean,
I've had to do it in the past with employees, so it's,
I say.
and guests and get our convention or, meeting attendees for different.
Oh,
meetings.
interesting.
So I don't know, and there's a small risk, but the exercise is, yeah, the physical damage. But, there are people that are in the witness protection program or domestic violence, people that don't want to be seen.
Oh, sure. Right, right.
Yeah,
I guess I feel like those are the folks that need to be observing that they're not, I don't know.
yeah, well, just as long as legal, I mean, maybe even on the application for when people become members and get their little card. I can't remember if there was anything like any of that on that about what, exercise or premises accidents or pictures, or I don't know. Maybe that would, but you'll find out when you talk to other people, I think.
Mm.
Okay, so, all right. I'm not trying to make more work, Karen, I'm really not, but.
No, I mean, I think the exercise and all those, I think that's we can get that in place. The photo release waiver may be a harder one to manage. We don't take a lot of, if we have an event, we do take some group shots, but not ever a close up of somebody's face. But yeah, we could. Typically people know if we're taking their pictures, so they would give them the opportunity to say, I prefer not to have my photo taken.
Well,
Right.
it wasn't the senior center that was doing this. It was the, writers, the leadership of the writers groups, which,
Oh.
who knows how they're gonna use them. And I support what they do. I totally do. It's not trying to put reins on them. It's just, it made me think though, like,
Oh, interesting. So
Yeah.
they took pictures and did they have a waiver or
No,
something?
no.
Interesting.
I mean, they were
Huh.
mostly taking pictures of themselves, but there's people in the background who
Sure.
sitting near them who, as they took a picture of the leader up on the whiteboard doing stuff, and there were people sitting there, and then,
Interesting.
yeah, so
Hmm.
anyway.
I'll ask around.
Okay, so if the holidays, you talked about a potential party, there is that trip, the bus trip with Stoneham too, right, coming up?
Yeah, so that's we're having on October, what day we're doing the registration opens on October 25th for that at 8:30. We're anticipating that selling out quickly. And our volunteer, one of my volunteers, my tax workout volunteers, is going to be our main leader for that again. And she received high praise from all the people on the turkey train. So we're looking forward to having her take this group too.
Excellent.
Good.
She was there today, Flo. You met her, Mary.
Oh, Mary, excellent.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, she was great. I think that's it. The snow angels are happening again. So we're trying to spread the word if somebody has not signed up from last year, if they need a snow angel, to let us know so we can work with the youth council and action team to match the person with students.
Okay.
And we did not have any people show up for the Monday morning quarterback. So we were disappointed about that. And we're trying to find a way to bring some people in, but I'm hoping that we have more coming though for October 17th, because we have Dave is going to talk about his trip to DC. So I'm hoping we bring in some people who want to hear about the Roll to DC Veterans trip. If we don't have people come for that, I'll invite him to talk at something else so that he can get another opportunity to share the story about the trip.
Nice.
Is he the veterans guy? Is that his name, Dave?
Yeah. So we took, I think we had 15 Wakefield, or one person couldn't go. So 14 Wakefield veterans went to DC on that trip. So it'd be nice to have him present. Maybe I'll do an evening thing that I can set up here for him to share with the community.
Yeah, that's great. Jeez.
Yeah, he's in the writing group, and I thought that was his name, but he certainly likes to, in a good way, he likes to talk, so it's good. Yeah, I'm sure he'd have good stories about the trip. Joanne or Christina, do you have any questions for Karen about anything or anybody? I know you're still new to this and kind of.
I guess I would just ask Karen, what are you, like in the last, maybe even 30 days, last 2 weeks, what are you most proud of?
Good question.
I think, oh gosh, that's a tough question. That's a good one. I think
Too
honestly,
many to list, too many.
I think just to see how vibrant the center has been, just to see people are coming to the activities and not just the exercise classes that, Tuesdays make me happy. I love Tuesdays because we have cards going on. Now we have the writing going on. We have lion dancing. We have classes in the morning. I feel like Tuesdays is just like, there's something for everyone. So we want to try and keep that going and offer that on more days. So yeah, I guess Tuesdays I'm the most proud of.
That is wonderful. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, that was a great question.
So the age-friendly document, what are we doing in terms of that? Do we have goals set, or is that a topic for discussion here? The board?
Yeah, it's added to the agenda. If we're done with the director's report, I guess we could move on. That's a great segue, Joanne. Thank you. And that's exactly, from my perspective, why it's on the agenda, because I think the answer is we don't know. The answer to your question is we don't know. It's sort of COVID sort of interrupted it, and change in, directors, and we just really haven't gotten back to it since it was put together and finally submitted sometime in 2021, but the work to get it done was done before the pandemic. And then Judy, the former director, pulled it together during the pandemic, and there it is. So Karen, I don't know if you have any, what would you like to say about it? What would you like to have happen?
I think that's one of the reasons I had wanted originally to try and do strategic planning in person so that we can work on some of those things, which I think is a much easier way to do it than over Zoom like this. But I do think it'd be worth, if we can't do that in person, then doing a planning meeting or dedicating one of our meetings to really talking about some of the goals or what we might want to set up for goals for this year. We try and keep it in mind when we do some of our programming that we're setting out, but I definitely think it'd be nice to, as a board, come up with some goals and then potentially even inviting some of the original members of the team on there. I'm going to the MCOA conference next week, and I signed up for quite a few of the seminars that are talking about age-friendly communities or dementia-friendly communities. So I'm hoping next month to have more stuff to bring back from that.
Oh, good. Excellent.
That's great. Is that on the Cape? Where is that the one? Is it on the Cape Cod somewhere?
Yeah, I forget where, someplace down there, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week.
Good, nice.
Nice.
And there's new director training on Friday, so that'll be nice to attend also.
If you want to take a look, I happen to know that city of Salem, they're pretty advanced in their age-friendly work. And they, we've talked about updating our website, Wakefield's website but if you wanted to look at just some of the kind of activity in an age-friendly community, if you do the city of Salem and look at their age-friendly initiatives and their senior center COA, there's some interesting stuff there. That just happens to be one that is a little more advanced, but they're much bigger than we are. They have more resources, but it might give a flavor to what some of the local people have done. And their mayor's running for lieutenant governor, so
Right.
So do you think, Karen, that do you see, I don't know, it's almost November already, so, um, do you, after, do you think it's possible we could have a conversation before the end of the year, or is it maybe something in the cold, dark days of January when, that we would probably want to schedule?
As much as I would love to before the end of the year, realistically, I'm not sure if everybody can fit that into their schedules.
Yeah, yeah.
But, and I'm curious, what time would people want to do an additional meeting to talk about that? Or would they want to just try and get that done at this meeting? So I'm willing to work with whatever works for the group. I keep hoping to get the hybrid set up over at town hall, so we could at least meet over at town hall at some point. I don't know
Right.
when that's gonna happen.
Hybrid, actually, our last board meeting, and we did pretty good. We had just like a GoPro camera and it's a microphone plugged into the laptop. So while people were talking, it was easier to kind of use that instead of
Oh.
like trying to turn the laptop around and, you know what I mean, and make sure that,
Huh.
I mean, we didn't end up having any of the public sign in, but we one of my board members was recovering from COVID, and so she sat out in her car and it worked out really well. So
Huh.
it's doable. It's that
Oh.
little camera thing was a good thing.
Was
So it's one of
WCIT?
those,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Flo, yeah.
no, I was just gonna ask, one of those little handheld cameras that. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
and it also has a microphone, and we just plugged it into the laptop because I felt like, you know, you're trying to use a laptop and turning it
Yeah.
when everyone's talking and trying to like,
Right,
the audio
yeah.
probably isn't that good. But it worked out. You know, it was good, interesting, and it was good that we had a board member that was needed to sit in her car, you know, so
Right.
she could test it out.
And
So
were
how
you
did-
able to record the meeting too?
Yeah, I don't record my meetings, but yeah, I can record
Oh,
it just like
okay.
this. Yeah, we can record it. Yeah.
So did you do the camera or who did the camera?
We did, actually, my chairman had it, and you know, but we kind of, we were sitting in a small space, of course,
Okay.
too, so that helped. I mean, we were sitting at a small round table. But
And
it
whose
was,
camera? Was it your camera?
it was my board members. I bought a microphone that we couldn't get to work because I was more concerned about the audio, you know, people not being able to hear everybody speak that was in the room. But her little device was better than mine. And
I
I
see.
have to buy one of those, actually. But it wasn't a bad idea. I don't know where the town is, Karen, and they're setting that up. I'm not sure.
I mean, I've attended a meeting that there were definitely people on the big screen on Zoom, and I was in the
Mhm.
conference room. So I'm just not sure when they're ready to let us
Use
use
it.
that town-wide for this type of a meeting.
Mhm.
So I'll keep my ears to the ground on that one to know when we are, so we could definitely try and do that. And if we have to do it this way, then, you know, we can make it work, that's for sure.
Who's the decision maker on the permission for that?
Steve,
Well, you're on
Sure.
mute. Karen, you just put yourself on mute. There you go.
Steve Mayo.
Did
Would be
he
the ultimate.
decide that for the other groups that are doing it?
Yeah, it's, I think, for town policy for the town administrator for making the meetings accessible for everybody. We're all meeting via Zoom still. So that nothing has changed to hybrid, I believe, until they have a capability to let that to be sent out town-wide. So as soon as I know if we're allowed to, I will definitely share it with the group.
So Maureen, we're not gonna bust you, but so did your notice get sent out townwide when you did that? Your board meeting?
We posted with
did.
the town clerk and it goes in the newspaper. Yeah.
Okay, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, you can do it. It's just the town is choosing to be more extreme, as, you know what I mean? Like they want to continue, you know, with the accessible meetings for everybody. And so they're just, and you can, so you can do it both ways right now, but the town can make their own choice of what they want to do with all their boards and committees.
One of the things
then-
I've noticed, and maybe I'm not reading them correctly, but two things are coming up. One is a third meeting on the master planning that's going on. I think it's next week, and that's an in-person meeting, either at the Civic Center or the Galvin, I can't remember. And I don't remember, I noticed that there was no way to attend that by Zoom, or at least on the notice that I read, and I thought, this is a mistake, I think, personally. And then town meeting, when that comes up, I assume there's a way to, it's an in-person meeting, but I assume that's gonna be a hybrid. But
I don't think the town meeting is gonna be.
Yeah. see,
I
so-
read, yeah, I read something in the item that you can't participate unless you're there in.
So what's that about?
present.
I mean, I can understand why you might not be able to vote, but to attend,
No, I think they'll broadcast it, like they do on
And-
WCAT. You
Yeah,
can watch it, but I don't think you can participate unless you're there.
hmm,
I think I
Yeah.
read that in the item.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe that's what it is. Yeah, it'll be broadcast, but to vote and be a participating member, you have to come on November
And
19th.
you can have meetings right now in person. You can, it's not against the law. But I think the state will look into, requiring the hybrid or something like that. Will
mhm,
come of
mhm.
this.
well, just like an age-friendly comment I would make right now about that, let's say town meeting, that either, in the future, I mean, the town should be providing transportation then to people that can't get there. And or, should people that need to attend virtually, why shouldn't there be a way for them to vote? And I'm not talking about this month, next month, I'm not talking about that. But in terms of age-friendly and disability-friendly, that Saturday mornings, I mean, the senior center vans aren't running, right?
Well, I think the town could make a decision
They
to
could,
do that.
of course they
Yeah.
could, of course they
Right.
could.
Transportation.
Get people to and from a meeting that they have no way to get to. And then the same thing with after dark, night meetings, a lot of people of different ages, but certainly more advanced ages, oftentimes have difficulty driving at night, even if they drive. So, that's an age-friendly, just thing coming out of my head right now.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's some inconsistencies in terms of what the different councils are doing. And Maureen, you're talking about the housing authority where you did the hybrid?
Yeah, we've been meeting in person for a few months now. And then, but we did, because we talked about this last month, we
Mm.
did do it, well, we were gonna do it anyway, because we want to offer it as well. And it worked out okay.
Yeah.
But like I said, we didn't have anybody sign in, but we're gonna try and offer that every month.
So does
Just in
Steve
case.
Mayo know that you're doing that? Is he okay with the housing authority doing that?
The town is not a overseer of the housing authority.
So, okay.
So
So that,
yeah, we're our own entity, which is kind of weird because the town does appoint a board member and they do get elected, but we're not part of
Oh,
the town.
interesting.
So do you have to broadcast to the town or make it available to the town as in that capacity then?
No, we
What-
still have to post our meetings. We're under the
Okay.
same, open meeting law requirements
Okay,
that all the town
Okay.
boards are. Those are state
Identify that,
laws.
yeah.
yeah, I
We
think,
try to follow everything the town does, obviously, why
Yeah.
wouldn't
Right.
we,
yeah, the open meeting law, as long as you're complying with that, I think that's the important thing.
And we are, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, the open meeting law
Mhm.
was extended to allow for the remote participation during the pandemic, and they just didn't, they kept it, when does it go till next spring? They
Mm.
voted to extend it until next spring. So on a state level, I'm sure that they're gonna try to do something, but I don't think they're getting some pushback on making the hybrid mandatory because of the cost that maybe some towns and cities can't incur. Or maybe they have so many committees and boards that they can't make it happen. I don't know.
Right.
Mhm.
Like Wakefield would be really busy. There's a lot of boards and committees and,
Yeah.
Yeah,
if they only have one room set up, it's just gonna probably be
right.
hard to get in.
Back to Karen's question about, would we prefer to, or what makes sense to try to build some time into this meeting or a separate meeting? I guess would suggest that we somehow use this time, I think right now, at least until we have some more concrete tasks. Right now, we don't really have concrete tasks or thoughts, so maybe, we could devote just, 10 minutes, let's say, at our next meeting in November for you to give us a little summary of what you learned about, what you found out about age friendly, Karen, if you wanted to. And then in December, at our 10 minutes on the agenda, in December, we could, everybody on this group could review, if they haven't already, but review again the age-friendly document that it exists, that I haven't looked at in over a year myself, I have to say. And we could, just ask questions or banter a little bit, 10 or 15 minutes about what's there. And then in January, we could then take maybe more, maybe even, we could probably do our business in a half an hour. And then, reserve the second half hour to say, okay, what do we want to do? What can we do? What might happen? What makes sense? What's possible? Small steps, because that's the way probably anything's going to get done. So November summary from Karen, December review of the age-friendly plan, everybody has read. And then, January, more time in the meeting to say, okay, now what? Now what do we do in this meeting?
And we'll see where the town is.
The only thing I'd offer is that if, Karen, you have some ideas, because sometimes it's almost better to react to something. I'd
Right.
be happy to sit down with you, and I do strategic planning like for a living on this. So, I'd be happy to kind of craft a charter or something like that of just how you might want to think it through, or sometimes even just to do a brain dump of like, here's my wish list of what I'd love to see. And then it gives us something to react to. I mean, it's just an idea.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Christina, would you be willing to facilitate our discussion and,
Sure.
in January about?
With your help, of course, Susan, but
Well,
yes.
yeah, but sometimes you've already discovered that I can go off on tangents. So, I think for somebody to pull us back and keep us focused and, ask the right questions, that will help us, that would be wonderful.
I'd be happy to help.
Maureen?
Yeah, when we got the designation as an age-friendly community, are we supposed to be meeting these goals? Is there a time frame?
Well,
Does anybody know
So-
any? I'm just curious, like,
yeah, so I
I
was
don't
kind of,
remember that.
I was kind of looking back and forth at the document, and there are some dates in there. So actions. So here's a recommendation: continue to expand and improve on existing communication outlets. So the action is, between 2021 and 2022, and it has a list of action items, and who the prospective partners would be. And then so it sort of spells out, sort of, I think it has to be like, I think what I can envision is that we would need to like say, okay, this is what we said we would do. Did we do it? If we did, let's put it down and, write about it. If
Right,
not, we need an action plan. So there are action steps about resident participation in community organizations, and so the age friendly is like a designation that AARP gave out to communities who went through this process and sort of looked at various, so there's 8 domains that we had to like assess the town in. So I don't know, if you have a chance to look at it, I think it
You know what? I was looking at it and I wasn't, though that action word wasn't jumping out at me. Now it is.
Yeah,
I did look
was,
through it earlier.
I know, I ended up printing it. I hate to have to do that, but I
I know,
printed
but-
it so I could like, oh, okay. Oh, but
Paper.
and then I, lose my train of thought and goes all out the window. But I don't know. I don't know if that helps, but there's good info in there, but I think it is stuff that has to be like updated, and there are action steps, and like, well, did we do what we said we would do? There was an item in there about working with the recreation director about intergenerational things. So maybe, I don't know, I mean, you did some of that so already, so I don't know, I think it's definitely something that should be addressed or looked at, and we can.
And we're not a silo. I mean, the Council on Aging is not a silo. We can't make an age-friendly town. Everybody's got to be, and if it's friendly for an 80-year-old, it's going to be friendly for a 5-year-old. So it's not,
Right,
age-friendly for older people. It's age-friendly, period.
right, and
So
that was
Yeah.
some of it too, so yeah.
Well, there's pickleball courts now, aren't there, in the civic center? So
Yeah,
that's, I
and
don't know
the,
where that came from, but that's age-friendly.
yeah, Vets Field, yeah.
Yeah, and at Wakefield, right. So thanks for pointing that out, Flo. Okay, so we do have some action steps, I think, and Christina, Karen will follow your lead, but Christina made a wonderful offer to bring her expertise and knowledge to our process, so that would be terrific.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy to help.
Karen, I have a question that isn't related to the age-friendly, but it's, can I bring up something? Well, it looks like we're gonna lose a board member, I guess is really what I just want to ask. It looks like one of our board members isn't gonna be able to continue. At least that's my interpretation of what Suzanne is saying to us. So I wonder if there's a process to fill that spot before next go around next spring, or do you know?
Yeah, I think that she has to formally resign her position.
Okay,
So she
okay.
would send that in, and then that would trigger them to look for somebody new to appoint.
Okay, is it appropriate? I don't know. Is it appropriate for me to reach out to her and see what she wants to do? And ask her to do that, or is it something that you would do, or is it something?
I think as the chair, that's something that you do. I can
Okay,
double.
I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. I don't want to be inappropriate though. So I'm happy to do it because it sounds like she's just kind of swamped with stuff. So. And
Yeah, I think so. And if she doesn't want, if she's not able to do it anymore, then yeah, she would write, I believe, I can check with Sherry and then email you back of who
thank you.
she would.
Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to get rid of her, but I know that feeling when because I've been in that seat when I've committed to something and then wasn't able to follow through. If that's where she is, then it might be helpful to her to have a conversation about it. Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else that anybody wants to?
How many board members are there supposed to be here at the meeting?
Well, we have to have a quorum, so how many board people are on the board? I don't know. I think 7, but, or 6. Well, counting Karen, 7. Yeah.
2, 3.
I think I'm 8.
Oh,
So I
then-
think there's 7 board members for the odd number for voting purposes.
Oh, Liz Ellis is missing. That's right, too. Liz Ellis is not here.
Excuse me.
Suzanne,
All right.
thank you.
So 1, 2, 3,
So we
4,
need-
5.
So we have a quorum, but 2 board members are missing. Yeah.
What is the official quorum for 7? Is it 5? Or is it
Quorum, well, wouldn't it be 4?
4, right?
4? For the
Majority,
housing
no?
authority, we have 5 and our quorum is 3.
Yeah.
And That's
Well,
just
because
my
2 wouldn't make it, but 4 is more than half of 7. I think.
4.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's not based on anything other than primitive math, Maureen, so.
That's how I would see it. The majority, right? More than
Right,
50%.
right. More than 50%.
State of Massachusetts has an opinion on what a quorum is. The open law defines a quorum as a simple majority of the members of a public body.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Thank you for, where are you reading that?
The Google. I just Googled it, but
The
it's,
Google.
you know, it's frequently asked questions about the open meeting law.
Okay,
There's a lot of information about open meeting laws. It's not so 4 for us, simple majority would be 4.
Right.
So it's good to have 7 people just in case.
right,
know,
no,
winter's
you don't need
coming
that.
and- Although if we meet remotely, we don't have trouble with weather or anything. We
That's
shouldn't.
right, that's right. That's right. Okay, well, so Joanne, that answered your question, I hope.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Okay. And anything else before we entertain a motion to adjourn?
Nope, is the next meeting on November 9th?
Must be, that's the second, right?
Yeah,
Yep, November 9th is the second Tuesday or the second Wednesday.
All right, so that's, and then December, what would be the date on our December meeting? We should just look just in case.
December
14th.
14th.
oh my God, so needy.
17th? Wow.
14th.
Oh, 14th, okay, December, yeah, 14th. Okay. Okay, so November 9th, election day is November 8th. Okay, December 14th. Okay, well, calendars.
I'll make a motion to adjourn if no one
Thank
has
you,
anything
Maureen.
else.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Christina. All in favor? Aye. Anybody want to stay? Not that you're not all nice people, but yeah. Okay, great. All right, well, have a good month. Enjoy the festivities of Halloween, everybody, and you know, and we'll see you when we see you next month.
Great.
Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.